This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
I was just watching the news last night to see Justin Longmuir getting interviewed because I want to see what he had to say about the fact that Fremantle are struggling.
And about Alex Pearce's hat, wasn't there any mention of that?
Well, there was a mention of that because who was it? So when he was doing the interview, they asked him about the photo that was taken on the back of the West, obviously, the other day, and the West. The job of the photographer is to go out there and get any type of snap so we can make a story out of it. Justin had this to say about that conversation.
We're just having a chat about life and the games on the weekend, and it was a pretty amicable conversation as far as I was concerned and he was concerned. So it was a bit of a beat up, I think, by the West, but it is what it is, and don't read too much into it.
But the beat-ups like that, they do it with celebrities all over the place.
Yes.
You might see a couple out, Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher out for breakfast. And then for 1 second, she's looking a little bit upset.
Yeah,
and then,
or
divorce.
puts her hand in. I know. Well, I remember Rebecca Judd telling a story about how she was, there was a story about how the trouble in paradise. And she said, because it looked like she was like castigating Juddy and about something that was on his phone. And she said what they were actually doing was she was pointing to the weather app because they were going on. They just landed at Noosa Airport, and she's pointing to the weather app, going, "Look at this." And they wrote that up like they were getting divorced.
It's pretty gross reporting, isn't it? When you're looking at just way someone's body language is going, and then you write an article and say that they were upset.
Well, you just threw your hands up in the air, Nathan, there. Clearly, there's dissent in the...
That's right.
If you take that photo...
Oh, the only difference is no one takes photos of us.
No, it was so interesting for him to come out and say that. I wonder, first of all, because he's getting interviewed, he's got a contract with Channel 7. So whether he gets a reprimand behind the scenes because 7 West Media, that's what it is. So
I see what you're saying.
Hey, just get rid of those comments.
Can you stop bagging us out when I take a photo of you? I
did a thing with a photographer, I don't know, last year, and I said, what are you up to for the rest of the day? Now, last year there was and it might have been the year before, there was an article about a young guy who had invested, he was a mathematician, whiz kid apparently, that was got a whole heap of... horse gamblers, money from guys, and then he started coming up with his own equations, and this is how and it's one of those pyramid schemes, and
essentially,
and he spent all the money.
Yeah.
So he goes, allegedly, he said, I've got to go to this guy's house in South Perth, whatever, and see if he's there, and just get a photo of him. I just got to wait for any stage for him,
any photo, of him
any stage, so we can and make sure he's not looking too shabby. Or looking shabby, should I say, so that they could have a story. And his next thing, this was through the COVID times, for this week, and he said, I'm going to the footy. And I said, and he goes, my job is to get a photo of someone not wearing a mask. It's his whole thing, one.
Even though you're allowed to take your mask off if you're eating or drinking. So, but somebody that out of context, they would
just finished their pie, so there's no pie in their hand, and they get to put their mask back on.
Or they just frame that out.
Interesting.
And then that person is then pilloried.
Yeah,
because they're identifiable.
Right.
Yeah.
And lastly, producer Amy brought this to my attention because she is a Tottenham Hotspurs fan.
Tough time to be a Spurs fan.
Now, they got rid of their coach because they got smoked over the weekend by Newcastle United and they got done 6-1. The players have released a statement saying that they will refund the money to any of their fans who travelled from London
to Newcastle.
To the North End to watch this game. They'll refund the money. They'll embarrass, obviously, as
just
I
refund
said,
the ticket sales.
Refund the ticket
What about
sales?
the hotel and the train fare?
Well, that's a really good point, guys. I think we've got to dig deeper over this.
All expenses as well. I mean, they had to eat and everything.
Christian Stellini, who's only been in the job for about a month.
Yeah, 29 days.
So a month, and he's got the lemon and sauce straight away. The thing about this is, so Tottenham, a big-time club, obviously, they've got a stadium that was cost them £1 billion to be able to build. And they're still in 5th position. It's not as though they're they're down the bottom. You know what I mean?
Right.
They want to play Champions League footy. That's the main thing.
That's hilarious.
They've gone through 6 coaches in 4 years, I believe it is.
Wow.
You know what? We didn't speak about it the other day when it happened, but everyone has to watch Welcome to Wrexham. That's Ryan Reynolds and
Rob
McElhenney buying that.
What
club.
Can you watch it on, by the way, Nate?
You can watch it on Disney Plus. Yep. I have never, as you know, understood that league and never understood how. I've never grasped the concept of how people go up and down.
Yeah, promotion and relegation.
Promotions, and that team was on the bottom, and then the only way is out completely.
Yep.
Those people on that team are getting paid about £30,000. That's a good pay for those.
Yeah, that's a good pay because they're not in a professional league.
Yeah, it was 45 years since their first league championship, 15 years since they were in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And the thing,
that part of it.
But just watching what they did to that club, and it's amazing because I've heard you guys talk about what's the difference between a good club and a bad club, and that's money. and imagine all these bottom tier clubs if they all just got some celebrities to adopt them.
I know.
And literally, it's amazing.
It's actually
Wrexham
happening
is a small town, so the fact that they've got this happening, it's big for the whole community.
They even were able to pay a person that was actually in a couple of high levels to come down to the bottom level to play, and then he helped their club. All because they were able to pay him the money.
They did win promotion, so they're moving up.
No, this isn't Mullins. This is another guy after Mullins. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So on that, Nath, you just mentioned that. So Manchester City have been winning trophies left, right and centre over the last 6-7 years. And again, they were bought by a club. I think they're Saudi Arabia or one of the oil tycoons just decided to buy them and then just pump billions of dollars into it. And that's how they win.
It's so good. Welcome to Wrexham. It's got the fans' point of view because they have to basically get it okayed from the fans and it shows you what the previous owners did to that club, which was unbelievable what they went through.
Run it dry.
Welcome to Wrexham. You got to watch it because we know that the next season's going to be a really great ending.
Yes. They make it. They get promoted every
in 2 years.
All right.
2 years.
Amazing,
2 years. Look what they did.
Lots of ANZAC Day tributes in the footy going on over the weekend, as you see, and it is great because everybody gets involved. The Richmond-Melbourne game on Monday night, if you watch this footage on 7 over the weekend, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
They really do a magnificent job. And, of course, the game yesterday, 95,173 went along to watch that game, a new record.
That's
incredible.
Big numbers, isn't it?
The noise coming out of that stadium.
So that's really just the MCC members that determine whether that hits a record or not, isn't it?
Yes, because they're very highfalutin,
aren't they?
The MCC members, so sometimes they can't be bothered, Nath.
All I saw from that game, surprisingly, was on the news, and that was the Collingwood captain's
Darcy Moore
speech, which then I was so impressed by what I saw on the news, I ended up looking it up online. That guy to have played an entire game of football, by the way.
With a dramatic comeback,
and won.
as they did in the last quarter.
Yes.
Yeah.
To be able to stand up there and eloquently speak about the ANZAC and their families and what they've done for this country and how it was such an honour for them to have played for, they've got... How did he do that?
It was remarkable.
He did it with no notes, and a lot of people would have watched it on 7 yesterday, but he did it with no notes. And as you said, he's just played a game for over 100 minutes. Exhausted. They come back from six goals down.
Yeah, the euphoria of winning like they did, and then to be able to just very calmly deliver a perfectly timed speech.
Oh, he'd be 27 maybe. I'm going with 27. Think about when you're 27, he's standing in front of 95,000.
Think about it now.
This is some of what Darcy Moore had to say, particularly towards the end. And once again, no notes. Here he is.
To the veterans, there are over 600,000 veterans in this country who have returned from service. We also extend our thanks to you for your sacrifice, and we hope that, again, doing what we do today somehow honours your legacy and what you've done for our country. So thank you to those 600,000 veterans as well. And then finally, to the families of those serving and those veterans. Too often, your stories go untold. And on behalf of the Collingwood Footy Club, just want to acknowledge the pain of war that runs through so many families across this country. So it's a real honour for us to run out here and play our game in honour of you and your service. So to the families of those who have served, thank you so much for your service.
Can I just point out, it's really difficult sometimes when you're publicly trying to be fancy with your words or eloquent, and then Shaun, it happens to you a lot. And then suddenly you start talking, and then you realise, wait, where am I going with this? And
without notes.
Without notes, and then like, oh my God, am I meandering? Or am I and then for him to be able to do that was so. I'm very impressed by that.
Yeah, I was saying to you guys earlier this morning that I watched him get interviewed and asked about a lot of the AFL's drug policies.
Yes.
And he had just been appointed captain, as he is his first year in the job this year. He did not miss a beat.
Yeah.
Like he'd memorised the handbook.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
He didn't have to look at a media person next to him. He didn't deflect a question. He answered it in a way that gave you clarity on his thoughts and, of course, the rulings as well. Very impressive,
amazing,
Darcy
isn't it?
Moore and the Collingwood Footy Club won that game. They've won 9 out of 11 games since they've been trailing.
I tell you
Nats
what,
at three-quarter
the
time.
father-son rule has done very well for the Collingwood Football Club, hasn't it? So Nick Dacos took out the medal. Darcy Moore, son of the great Peter Moore, is the captain and delivers a speech like that. It's a great legacy.
Yeah, just on Nick Dacos himself, 40 possessions, 2 goals. So he's 20 years of age.
Yeah.
He looks like he's home and host
He
for
can
the
do
Brownlow
anything,
medal
can't he?
at this stage.
It's
They
amazing.
cannot stop him. It's amazing to see.
Sorry, I've lost my interest on the Today Show. They're learning how to fight with lightsabers.
Gee, that's... can we record this?
All right, quick. We'll
All right,
abandon this sports segment because we've got to watch that immediately.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.